Muli Uli and Manire from the warm heart of Africa in Malawi. This summer, my family met up with Lud and Jean in the tiny village of Mbangwini in the country of Malawi, where this church has sponsored programs for decades. We met with the headmasters of both the primary and the secondary school for the deaf. The primary school goes through 6th grade and has over 100 students. The secondary school just opened 4 years ago and now has over 50 students between the grades of 7 and 10. We toured the dorms where the deaf students live during the year, and in 2 years, the secondary school will be at full capacity with over 70 students. This secondary school for the deaf is the only one that exists in the country of Malawi. So it is opening opportunities, educational opportunities for deaf students that have never been possible before. Your dollars, your funds from this church go to feeding all of these children throughout the school year. Now, closest to my heart is the Mbangwini Mission Hospital. I have been there on 2 separate occasions. This was our 3rd trip there. And for years, the hospital has been run by clinical officers. These are people who have 3 years of training after high school and are able to do C-sections. They're able to run the NICU. They're treating malaria. They're treating HIV. They have an incredible breadth of knowledge, but very little depth, and they have no real experience with running a hospital. And so things have been kind of stagnant over time. But this year, they have hired a young, energetic doctor named Dr. Kowandini Zambo, who is fresh out of his training and is an absolute breath of fresh air at the hospital. We were sitting in his office, and he said, "I don't want to do the usual thing, because then you become usual as well." I mean, it was a really inspiring statement, and to kind of give light to what we're talking about, I saw in his office he has a little sign, a little placard that he's made that says Doctor's Lounge. Now, having been to this hospital a couple of times before, there is no Doctor's Lounge. And so we ask him about it, and he realizes that in order to keep the momentum going of this tiny village hospital, he is going to have to recruit more physicians, more staff to be there. And to do that, he has a vision of creating a doctor's lounge, an area where the staff could come and sit down, have a cup of coffee, have access to a computer. Nothing fancy, but just something that would really help to recruit people here. And so I look over at Kimmy and I'm like, we can help them with this. If they just need a couple of computers, we can do this. So he takes us around and he shows us where his doctor's lounge is going to be. And it is the burned out side of one of the hospital buildings, crumbling brick walls, a dirt floor. And as he goes through this, you just watch his eyes light up with the vision. He says, this is where we're going to place the door, and this is where the computers are going to be. And as he describes it, you can see it actually happening. So the breadth of his vision and his goals are so spectacular. It really was inspiring to us to help him move forward with these things. Now, many hurdles remain in Malawi. In the operating room, the surgical light doesn't work. The operating table doesn't move up and down properly. And so they're performing surgeries hunched over with a 60-watt bulb being the only illumination. In one of the outlying clinics, the solar batteries have been dead for years, and so they're treating hundreds and hundreds of pregnant women in the dark. And in the Kalakumbe clinic, which this congregation was instrumental in building, the roof is in such poor repair that during the rainy season, buckets and buckets of water pour down. There is work to be done, but we have already begun partnering with other Presbyterian churches. There's a group from Virginia who are leaving in the next month, and the information and the knowledge that we gained are going to help them to take some of these initiatives and move forward. So the hope is that with the right leadership in place, we are going to be able to make a real difference in Malawi. I want to encourage all of you to come after worship next Sunday when Nancy Collins, one of our missionaries, is going to lead a class on Africa, and that's next Sunday after our worship service. And I just want to let you know that the work and the good and the contributions and gifts from this congregation are not only going to help the least of these, but they are going to our brothers and sisters who have the strongest faith in the Lord that we all share. Thank you.